and say, let's go to the waiver wire section. Alex, start us off.
Yes, I will say every team plays 3 or 4 games next week. Very busy week in the association. But my available in 50% of leagues player is Marcus Morris, 44% rostered on Yahoo, 13% on ESPN. The Clippers, they can't stop getting injured. Kawhi Leonard, will he ever play 30 minutes again? And also the roster is full of old guys. Reggie Jackson, Batum. Yeah, including Morris, by the way. John Wall, guys like that. But Morris has played well. He's played 72 minutes in the past 2 games. He's ranked 80th per game, A category value. That was yesterday, at least. Clippers only have 3 games this week, so it's not the perfect ad. But I think his play is mostly sustainable. 53% from the field. That's a little high. 37% from 3. I think that's all right. But even if the field goal percentage comes down, I think he's someone worth streaming on 4-game weeks. If you're in a deeper league, add him to your roster, keep him on your bench, and then when it's a 4-game week, toss him in there.
Qualifies at center in a lot of leagues.
That's nice.
Never been shy about shooting. That's why he was my dull suggestion of the week last week. And I'm happy to see you encourage that thinking.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Of course. Ken, take it away.
50% of leagues. It is DeAnthony Melton of the Philadelphia 76ers, who we discussed in the news. Cheating a little here, but he's kind of your headline play. He yesterday was available in 59% of Yahoo leagues, but with the Harden news, he's now rostered in 69%, but somehow on ESPN only rostered in 17%. A lot more weekly moves on the ESPN scenario. Anyway, he's now starting with James Harden out for a month. He started before. He's got 15-7 career starts in which he posted 7.6 points, 3.6 rebounds, 2.4 assists, and 1.2 made threes over those 57 starts. He's on a big contract with the Sixers. It's a 4-year, $35 million deal. They very much wanted him to boost their bench. And he's always been a strong source of steals. And the Sixers have a 4-game week coming up. Shannon, take us to your available in 50% of leagues pick.
I'm going to go with 2 players here, but one guy that's already a lock in the rotation and has been seeing crazy minutes is Royce O'Neale. Royce O'Neale is averaging 10.8, 4.4 rebounds, 3 assists, 1.4 steals on the season. He is playing 37 minutes per game. Now, his play has stepped up a little bit. He scored 20 points in the most recent game. I feel like he's going to have to take on a little bit heavier of a scoring load with Kyrie out. So maybe just even a couple more shots for a guy like O'Neale, who's already contributed in multiple categories, can go a long way to boost his fantasy value. So for at least the next 5 games, if you're in a league where O'Neale is out there and he's available in about 45% of Yahoo and about 80% of ESPN leagues, I think he's a great streaming option for shallow leagues and a great long-term pickup for deeper formats.
Nets have 4 games. Also looking at 2.5 stocks a game possibly from O'Neale.
And then the second player I want to mention is Jalen McDaniels. We talked about him one of the past couple weeks as a good option. He's still widely available in about 50% of Yahoo leagues. And Jalen McDaniels should see a nice boost in short-term value. You've got Gordon Hayward's out Friday night against the Grizzlies, and McDaniels stepped up, played a season-high 36 minutes in the previous game that Hayward left early because of injury. And McDaniels did start in place of Hayward for the second half of that game. He's another guy that I think is worth streaming in shorter term, in shorter format, shallower formats, and more of a long-term play in deeper leagues. In place
the Hornets are seemingly going to continue to list Rozier and Martin as doubtful for every single game this season until they inevitably never play. Who knows when they come back? Truly, who knows? My long shot of the week, Zach Collins, a name that was, I think, almost completely got forgot about this past season. Although I saw some people in NFBKC leagues taking some chances on him late in drafts, and I was like, you know what? This is not a bad idea.
Center scarcity.
He's seeing a minutes boost lately. The Spurs were dealing with injuries. Keldon Johnson was out. Vassell was out. Sochan was out. But he's consistently seeing minutes in the high teens, which doesn't seem like it would be enough. But he's getting really involved. Career high usage rate. On pace to average career marks in pretty much every per minute stat, averaging 8.3 points, 4.4 rebounds, 2.9 assists. That's huge. 1.3 blocks and half a steal. And that's in 17 minutes, which is pretty much his floor at this point. So he's 132nd ranked player in 8 category leagues in 17 minutes a game. I think if you're in a deep league, you should add him. On 4-game weeks, he's useful. You can start him on a 4-game week with those stats. I think at the very least, you should add him to your watch list because, yes, I mean, if the Spurs trade Jakob Poeltl,
that's where I was going. Yeah.
Exactly. He's gonna be huge. He might rank like 75th the rest of the way.
Collins had some value late in the season last year after he came back from injury. He's basically doing the exact same thing that he's doing right now. I do think there's upside that he'll get over 20 minutes per game long term.
Well, I think we've all got Spurs this week for our long shots of the week. I'm going to recommend 29-year-old Josh Richardson. What you didn't mention, Alex, of course, is the release of Joshua Primo, which is opening up even more minutes on an already thin Spurs roster. Richardson was playing strong minutes even before Keldon Johnson and Devin Vassell got injured. But most importantly, the Spurs have no bench. You could argue Richardson's frankly the backup point guard and the backup shooting guard, and he plays some small forward for these Spurs. But yeah, the Spurs are a mess, even though they've got a surprisingly strong record. This team is not deep. In a lot of ways, the three of us are just taking flyers on what Spurs are gonna do well after Johnson, Poeltl, and Vassell.
And my long shot, like Ken mentioned, another Spurs, Jeremy Sochan. I like what I'm seeing out of the rookie. I think he's been starting. I mean, he started 7 of the 8 games this season for the Spurs. The other game, he was out for an illness. Also, if you look at his latest start, he only played 10 minutes. He ended up not playing in the second half because of that illness. He just wasn't ready to play big minutes. Was still under the weather, it seems like. So I wouldn't worry about, there's actually an opportunity here where he might have been dropped in your leagues because of the illness and then the underwhelming return. But if you look at before he missed that game, he was playing. His minutes were starting to creep up. His production was starting to creep up. In those 3 games prior to the illness, averaging 13 points, 3.7 rebounds, 1 steal, and 1.3 3-pointers in 27 per minutes. The fact that he's already been locked into the starting lineup for the entirety of the season, I think we'll see that for the rest of the year.
All right, let's go. Dull suggestion, and this is a dull one. Favorite of the pod. I think we're contractually obligated to mention him at least every 4 episodes. But Larry Nance of the New Orleans Pelicans. He is rostered in only 16% of Yahoo leagues, non-existent on ESPN. He does qualified forward and center on Yahoo. The Pelicans have 4 games this week, and when Lance is playing well, he is a rare combination of blocks, threes, and steals.
Try RotoWire today, free for 10 days. Get our premium tools, rankings, analysis, and breaking news alerts. No credit card required. Go to rotowire.com/try.